Hello everyone and welcome back in a new video. My name is Wahid Anwar, and in this video we are going to take an overview of the risk register. So every project, no matter how well planned, faces uncertainty, delays, cost overrun, design changes, or you can say unexpected conditions can quickly disrupt the progress of the project. So the key difference between a successful product and a failing one often comes down to how well risks are managed. Okay, so to deal with this, product managers use one of the most powerful tools in risk management, that is the risk register. Okay, so the risk register is you can say more than just a list of risk. It is a structured document that captures all risk in a one place, evaluate their probability and impact, then assign risk ownership, okay, to the team or the specific person, then define mitigation plans and track progress over time. In short, it transforms uncertainty into organized and actionable information. Okay, so in this video, we will explore the purpose of the risk register in project management, then the key components of the risk register, and then the benefits of risk register. Okay. So by the end of this video, you will see why risk register is not just a paperwork but a strategic tool for proactive project control. Okay, so next, let's start from the purpose of the risk register. So actually, the main purpose of the risk register is to serve as the central hub for all the project risk. Okay, capture all the known and potential risk. So it capture both the known risk and potential risk that might uh, you know much later in the project, instead of the risk being scattered across meeting emails and or you can say people's mind. Everything is brought together in a one structured document. Okay, so second, provide a structured method to assess risk, probability and impact. So then define the ownership and accountability. So it also provides a systematically, or you can say systematic way to assess the risk by looking at their probability of occurrence and their potential impact on cost, schedule, or quality. Okay, and this makes it easier for project managers to prioritize which risk need immediate actions and our attention, and which can be monitored. Okay, so another important purpose to define the ownership. Okay, ownership and accountability. So every risk is assigned to a responsible person or a team, ensuring that someone is always monitoring it and taking action when required. Okay, so next we have the track the status of risk during the execution. Okay, so the risk register is also a document the response and mitigation action. So this means that that for every risk we don't just identify the problems, but we also record how it will be managed, whether it is avoided, transferred, mitigated, or you can say accepted. Okay, so then we will also by own planning, it also helps to track the status of risk by you can say throughout the execution of project. So risk evolves, some gets resolved, new comes and added, and the other becomes more critical. So the risk register keeps this information updated and transparent. So finally, support decision making and reporting to these a stakeholder. So the risk register supports the better decision making and stakeholders reporting. Project managers can use it to communicate risk, uh, you can say clearly, justify decision, then provide the evidence during the audit reviews, or contract claims. Okay, so in short, the purpose of the risk register is not just to list risk, it's to make risk management organized, accountable, and transparent. So ultimately, increasing the chances of risk um, removed and project success. Okay, so I hope the purpose of the risk register are clear. So move next. Okay, so now let's go to the key components of the risk register. Okay, so here you can see a professional risk register is not just a table of risk. It is structured in a way that cover identification, assessment, planning, and continue monitoring of the risk. Okay, so first let's start from the identification. So under identification, you can see we will add here risk ID, risk description, risk category, then risk trigger, oblique source of the risk. Okay, so every risk starts with the basic details. We assign a risk ID for tracking for the specific risk, and then we will write a clear risk description, then classify into the risk categories such as schedule, cost, technical, or safety, and record the risk trigger or source. I mean the event or condition that might cause it. Okay, so after identification, we will enter here the assessment. That will be the pre-mitigation. You can say the very after identification, we will have the assessment for the pre-mitigation. Okay, so under pre-mitigation assessment, we put here the probability, I mean likelihood before action, then impact. So you can see here the under impact, cost impact, then time delays impact. Both will be the for pre-mitigation, and then score risk score equal to pi multiplied by at least the probability multiplied by impact. That will be the exposure before action. Okay, so we evaluate the risk before any action are taken. So we define the probability of the occurrence, and you can see the impact on the project's objectives. Impacts are usually separated into cost impact and time or delay, or you can say the days impact. So then multiplying probability and impact gives us the risk score, so which tell us how critical the risk is at this stage. Okay, so this will be the assessment for the pre-mitigation for the risk. Okay, so after that we have here the planning. Under planning, you can see we have the risk response strategy: avoid, transfer, mitigate, accept, then mitigation action plan, then contingency plan, then honor, risk honor. Okay, so so here we will define how we will respond to the specific risk. So, so the risk response strategy could be to avoid, transfer, mitigate, or you can say accept the risk. So we also create a mitigation or action plan. The that will be the specific steps to control the risk. So our contingency plan is prepared as a backup if the risk still occurs. So finally, each risk is assigned to the risk owner. Risk owner, you know, the person or a team that will be responsible for managing it. Okay. So next we have the key components of risk register part two. Again, next we have the assessment. This assessment will be the post mitigation. Okay, so for pre mitigation, then post mitigation. Okay, so I will I will show you the risk register, proper risk register in Excel format. Okay, so then you will understand everything easily. Okay, so now uh, take the overview of assessment for the post mitigation. Under post mitigation, you can see here the residual probability, then residual impact. Here we have the residual cost impact, then residual time, oblique days impact. Okay, so here you can see that the residual risk scoring equal to p multiplied by that will be the exposure after action. Okay, so after mitigation strategies are applied, we reassess the risk. We record like the residual probability and residual impact. Again, the separated into the residual cost impact and residual time impact. For this, we calculate the residual risk score. So this shows the level of risk remaining after controls are in place. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Next, we have the monitoring and control section. So under monitoring and control, we can see we have early warning indicators. Okay, then status, oblique remarks, then date identified, last updated. You can see target resolution. Okay, so risk priority level, risk response cost, lessons learned, risk honor, comments, etc. So this will be the at the last we will have some more columns for monitoring and controlling. Okay, so lastly, the risk register is used to monitor and track risk using these contents uh, during the project. So we may define early warning indicators. Here you can see the early warning indicators that signals that risk may occur. Then the status or remarks section shows if the risk is open, ongoing, mitigated, or closed. So we also record key dates like when the risk was identified, last updated, and the target resolution date for mitigation. Okay, so other important details including the risk priority level, then risk priority levels, high, medium, and low. So the risk response cost means budget for mitigation and any lesson learned for the future projects, and risk honors comments for the additional notes. Okay, so here you can see all the information we have. Okay. Okay, so by including all these components, a risk register becomes a complete tool for managing risk, not only the identifying them, but also planning, monitoring, and ensuring accountability. Okay, so I hope all these components are clear. So move next. So next we have benefits of the risk register. You can see centralized repository for risk information. Okay, then a risk register is just just not a document. It is a powerful tool that adds value throughout the project life cycle. It acts as a centralized repository, ensuring all the risks are captured, tracked, and easily accessible in one place. So promote proactive risk management rather than the reactive firefighting. So by systematically recording and monitoring risk, it ensures for the and then it encourages for you can say the proactive management, helping teams to anticipate challenges rather than the simply reacting when issues occur. So after that, you can see enhanced communication across the team and stakeholders. So it also improves the communication and transparency across the stakeholders, since everyone has visibility of the potential threats and plan response. Then you can say provide the evidence for audit claims and contract compliance. So additionally, you can say risk register provides the documented evidence for audit claims and contract compliance, making it an essential part of the project governance. So ultimately, by reducing uncertainties and providing a structured framework for decision making, it significantly improves the chances for project success. You can see improves chances of project success by reducing uncertainties. Okay. Okay. So up everything is clear related to the risk register. Okay, so now let me show you a risk register I have designed in Excel format. Okay, okay, so you can see uh, we have here a risk register in Excel format. Okay, you can also use this approach for your own projects if you don't want to rely on specialized tools. Okay, So the key point is, if your concepts are clear, you can easily design a risk register in Excel tailored to your project's requirement. Okay, so sometimes project management tools may not fully meet your needs. In such case, creating a custom risk register in Excel is a practical and effective solution. Okay, so here you can see we have here the same examples. uh, in this risk register, you can see design and approval delays, material shortage and price fluctuation, then unexpected site conditions. Okay, then categories. So just let's take the overview for the only one risk. Okay, so here we have the risk title. Here you can see we have the risk ID, then risk title, then category, then description. Delays in design approvals disrupt the critical path caused by the complexity, regulatory approvals, or scope changes. Next, we have the causes. You can see here: poor planning, frequent design changes, approval bottleneck, resources shortage, etc. Next, we have the effects. Then we have here the pre-mitigation probability. Here you can see we have the 50%, medium to high, and next we have the pre-mitigation impact. Okay, so you can see here you can also use colors. And then we have here the pre-mitigation cost impact, then pre-mitigation time impact in days, then we have the risk score mitigation, risk score pre-mitigation, then mitigation strategies we will apply. You can see here we will we will do the early involvement of the to the authorities, comprehensive design reviews, buffer time allocation, etc. So then we have the post mitigation probability. Here you can see the post mitigation probability. Okay, that will be the 20% low. Then pre post mitigation impact will be the medium, and then we have the post mitigation cost impact here. Then we have the post mitigation time impact for the days, and then residual risk scoring. Okay, then we have the risk honor, risk, then open risk status, then mitigation plan status, then we have the contingency oblique response plan here. Okay, so date identified, then review date, etc. Everything is added here. Okay, so you can use this risk register for your projects. Okay, so let me show you one more sample of risk register in Excel. So let me show you. Here we have one more risk register. Project name you can mention here. Here you can see it's a little bit detailed. You can also use this risk register as well for your projects. Okay, so I will also add these two risk registers, so you will be able to download these risk register from the resources. Okay, you can see here we have here the control requirements or risk assessment matrix like, or you can see here. Okay, so now let's move into Primavera P6 and take an overview of the risk register to see how risk can be captured, assessed, and managed directly within the software. Okay, so here let me show you. Here this is the very simple, you can see very simple risk register. Here you can see here we can add, we will take these examples which we have already discussed in previous video. Okay, so we will enter here one by one. Okay, so after this, I will also show you the risk register which we have in a Primavera risk analysis. Okay, actually, this one is very simple. Okay, you can see here risk ID, risk name, category, risk type, status, etc. Then impact. Under impact, we have mitigation, then a response, then post mitigation. Post response, pre-response, response, and post-response. Okay, then activities, description, causes, effect, etc. Okay, so now let's move to the risk analysis and let's see the uh, risk registered in Primavera risk analysis. Okay, here you can see we have risk. So here you can see we have here risk register in. in a very detail. You can see here we have here the qualitative risk, then quantitative risk. Okay, you can see here risk ID. Then you can see here we have the threat or opportunities, then title, etc. Pre-mitigation, you can see here, then mitigation, then we have the post-mitigation, then further details for the monitoring and controlling. You can see here who is the owner, etc. Okay, you can see here manageability, proximity, etc. So you can see here, even we can add more columns here as well. Okay, so in the bottom side, you can see here, in bottom section, you can see here risk details, then user defined mitigation, then waterfall chart, we have nodes, risk history, etc. And let me show you something more. We can also do some modifications in the risk scoring for probability scale, impact scales, and types. Then you can see here, we can also modify everything. Okay. So actually in a Primavera P6 we cannot modify anything, but in uh, Primavera risk analysis we can modify all the risk scoring, and we can also create a proper risk breakdown structure. Okay, we can modify, we can add more. Okay, so I hope everything is clear related to the risk register. So thank you so much for watching this video. See you in the next video.